And so onward. Copies of the book, Three Zakya Mansion, come to me from my publisher. 5 whole, actual, real copies. Now, I am at least an agarbatti salesman with the actual agarbattis in the jhola to sell. In the interim, more people have admonished me to take matters in my own hands. As no bookstore anywhere, metros, second metros, it seems, has even heard of the book yet. My friends report to me. Leave alone standing at the door with their tongues hanging out waiting for large consignments of Three Zakya Mansion, bookstore owners urge other books onto my friends who have gone asking for the book. Other writers have multiple launches in simultaneous locations. Meanwhile, Bangalore, Pune, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, for good measure. As for Three Zakya Mansion, informal reports pour in. They haven't heard of it, Gauri. Are you sure you've written this book? Are you sure? Some friends ask kindly. When they hear my anxious silence on the phone or on Gmail chat, one of them hurriedly adds, God bless her soul, I'll ask again and again, okay? So they'll remember the name. And when the book is out, I'll gift a copy of it for everyone's birthday that comes up in the whole following year, okay? Really, where would I be without my friends? Serious. Love you for that, all of you. Meanwhile, I hear from a smart, fearless young couple that I simply have to take the show on the road myself. They laugh themselves sick when I tell them I'm going to Leafy Lane bookstores in introducing myself. They advise me to get a manager. Manager, they spell out helpfully. One last sweet bookstore that I have a personal connection with, I bargain with them. And then I'll do everything that you suggest. So, I take myself and newborn Three Zakya Mansion on a small car trip into the city. I park and gently unstrap Three Zakya Mansion from the baby chair and stand at the signals waiting to cross. I fight back the image in my head of myself as a vagrant at the signal, waiting with her baby and hoping to catch the eye of a passerby. This kind of beggarly thinking won't do. I tell myself, this kind of beggarly thinking won't do. I visualize Oprah saying, "You go, girl," to me. Oprah was big at that time. And begin to stride across the road. The effect of that stride, that confident stride, is a little spoiled by a two-wheeler fellow trying to run me down because I come in the way of his red light jump. I have to scurry and skitter, dandling my newborn on my hip, which brings me rather quickly and unceremoniously to the steps of another old institution, a 30-year-old bookshop whose owner I went to college with. He isn't there, but that doesn't stop me from plonking Three Zakya Mansion on a table where 2 assistant women are working quietly. I start with, do you hold book readings here? I think people sell dirty pictures and drugs with more panache and confidence. They both look at me blank and say, book readings? I swallow hard. Not only are they not all agog, I'm going to have to repeat my question and possibly annotate and footnote my query. Possibly mime out book reading so that they get what I'm asking in that choked, dry-lipped way. But before I can do any of that, the phone rings in this small shop and the errand boy picks it up and passes it on to one of the ladies, announcing loudly. Sure of its horrific effect on them, he announces loudly, Mr. Hagavnecha phone. For those of you who don't speak Marathi, you may not be aware of the awfully scatological last names that exist in this part of the country. Anyway, loosely translated, pardon the pun, loosely translated, Hagavne means something like Mr. Shitter. Mr. Hagavne is the equivalent of calling somebody Mr. Shitter. I swear I'm not making any of this up, okay? I take 3 Zakia Mansion protectively off the table and wander into one of the little aisles and end up picking up 3 other people's books. This seems to be going well as a promotional visit, I think, for other people's books. The lady speaks into the phone to Mr. H, and I can see from the corner of my eye that she is savagely fighting down the giggles. Her younger assistant succumbs to them and quickly runs out of the shop. I see her standing on the pavement laughing uncontrollably into her chunni. This sets me off a little, and I grin at the lady who manages to finish off the conversation with Mr. Hagaune without laughing. Her face is doing her in though. As soon as she catches my eye, she comes completely undone. We both burst out into huge lungfuls of laughter. She tries to say, "Sorry, madam," to me and recompose her face, but she's just totally gone. She swats the errand boy with a book and says he always does this whenever this man calls. He announces his name loudly and clearly for all to hear. The errand boy grins and says, "You tell him to change his name to something like Mr. Joshi, so much cleaner." This makes us bellow more, and the woman who was trying to finish off her laughing outside on the pavement enters the shop, eyes streaming. Why don't such people change their names really? I managed to ask. The shop lady leans weakly against a shelf and says softly to me, "Oh, madam, you don't know. There's another distributor who calls, and his name is..." She can't finish her sentence. She goes to her desk and pulls out a card to show me, laughing and jabbing helplessly at the name. It says, "Mr. Sanjay Boob." I kid you not. Now, with this kind of exciting time at the shop, somehow it didn't seem the right time to show them 3 Zakia Mansion and extol its virtues or explain what a book reading is, no? Thank you, Mr. H and Mr. B, for that priceless laugh with strangers. But if 3 Zakia Mansion remains unknown to the reading public in the Deccan area, it's all your fault.